Nyankopon adehye yɛma yɛ nyinaa yɛho akwaba ɛnnɛ da yi so yɛda Onyankopon ase ɛwɔ baabi a ɔde yɛn aba abɛduru yɛnim sɛ ɛkwan yi yɛne na ɛtu ɔno na yɛ ahyɛseɛ ɛna ɔno na yɛ awieyɛ wura ansa na ahyɛseɛ bɛhyɛ aseɛ no yɛnim sɛ na ɔwɔ hɔ yɛda n'ase bebree na yɛda wase so sɛ waba bɛka yɛn ho a woni yɛ bɛbom na yɛsua adesua abom na da bia yɛ na ɛka sɛ woba yɛ na wanya abotrɛ ama yɛn na deɛ yɛka yi no ɛyɛ adwene ne akoma mu nsɛm ɛne nti wonya abotrɛ ma yɛn na wode akɔ adwene mu na wode akɔ akoma mu na Onyankopɔn na ɔte adwene mu ɛte akoma mu no menim sɛ ɔbɛma wo mmuayɛ ɛwɔ biribiara a wobisa no biara ɛho ɛno nti ka wakoma to yam koraa wapue baabi yie na baabi a wapue no so no nsɛmpa nkoten ɛna wode waso bɛte wode w'ani bɛhu na wo nipadua no so ɛbɛnya saa atenka no ɛfiri sɛ saa na Yesu Kristo baa ɔde gyaa yɛn ɔsɛ monkɔ na mokɔka nsɛmpa no ɛwɔ wiase afanan nyinaa na ɛno ɛna de awieɛ no ɛbɛba nti yɛde Onyankopɔn ase sɛ yɛate aseɛ a yɛano gu nsɛmpa so na ɛno ara so ɛna yɛbɛkɔ so a aka ne yɛaka no bio na dwumadie a yɛde ba yi yɛato ne din Nsakyerae A Edimu ɛfiri sɛ n'ano na Paul ka nsɛm bi ɛwɔ Romanfoɔ nwoma no ɔse hwɛ aso monim sɛ ɛyɛ Onyankopɔn ayɛ mu yie ɛna de adwenesakyera ɛba na ɛno nti nsɛmpa koten ne Onyankopɔn ayɛ mu yie ɛna yɛbɛda n'adi akyerɛ yɛn na bosom 6 na ɛtwa mu no yɛde awareɛ nsɛm ɛna di kan baeɛ na awareɛ nsɛm so na yɛpɛnsɛmpɛnsɛm mu a ɛde abɛduru saa mmerɛ a yɛgu so a ɛka ɛho asɛm na yɛn nso a yɛde dwumadie ɛbrɛ mu yɛyɛ owura ɛne owura yɛrɛ Prince ɛne Sandra ɔsɛ Gyamfi nti yɛda mase bebree sɛ moaka yɛn ho afiri mfitiaseɛ wɔnka yɛn ho afiri mfitiaseɛ a ɛnyɛ hwee wone bibi wonka akyiri koraa deɛ yɛayɛ no nyinaa no ɛgu Facebook na woni Facebook nso so a nesa na so yonku bi any Facebook wo de wo so nti na wo yɛ oyonku bi ni so a wo se enye hwe esa da YouTube da simply good news no ye twato no ye z and nti o ko ha ye ye twemu nyina edni nyina ego nti wo person pa bi atie e de atwetwe wo re e de eto anamo a e de anigye mapa e de akwa ho san e de fa ho de esi ase ɛde asomdwie ɛbɛbrɛ wa me nua ɛhɔ na ma wasonko ɛhɔ na ma wani nko na kotietie bi yɛyɛ twam no ɛwuma na makotiem si oh wow na kyɛ sɛ ahyɛ me nkran na amama hu sɛ sei na Onyankopɔn abɔ yɛn sei na wayɛ yɛn ɛno nti ɛboa me menim sɛ ɛbɛboa wo so nyinaa yɛde aso ɛne yɛn ho ne yɛde padua nyinaa ɛbɛma deɛ yɛayɛ twam no na yɛde awadeɛ sɛ mo baa yɛ no ɛm sɛ deɛ yɛka yɛn ne sɛ yɛma fapem no yɛhu sɛ deɛ fapem ne siteɛ sɛ yɛhu fapem no a onuadɔfoɔ a wotie yɛn deɛ toa so biara no ɛnyɛ nwanwa ɛnyɛ den ɛnyɛ asɛm koraa ɛfiri sɛ fapem no ɛsi a deɛ wode bɛtoa so biara no ɛkɔ kama na fapem no so ɛne sɛn ɛne sɛ sɔfo medema no bɛsi ha na wode yɛ atoa so fapem no ɛne sɛn
I'm saying they can say a no, you can say a no, but for any tree. And the better than questions about a answer the brofo, of any answer the tree. And send a bit with the Akobiano. Yeah, okay. If you're ready, when you're answering that's and I said, for some introduction or their mind. So today we're going to do a combo, both tree and English. We have a number of questions on the board that people have asked, and so we'll do well to answer the question as much as you can. Now, because we're going to do both English and Tree, and of course bearing in mind the time span, we will not rush. We'll answer as many questions as we can, and then next week, if you're unable to exhaust the questions, next week you'll continue to answer the questions. It's a special day, questions day, and that is what we promise to do. Yeah, can you say ene eda strong ko eda ye si o se ye di nsimfua bi ano na ankrankra bi di nsimfua horo bi aba ye bi yi ano enti ebeka no ye di mwa ba obofum esan so e di aba twi kase mu ese enti se ntimi mpo enyi nsem no no a eye ebeto also eda foforo enti yen hye no enso ebiem. Again, if you want to ask any question, please feel free to put the questions across, and we will also obviously do it to answer it today. If not, we take it up next week as we go on. So that is how we're going to go. We're going to do it. We speak in English and also we speak in Tree. So bear with us. So to answer your question, answers me as I'm now coming to Tree. Fapimono any sorry. Fapimono any Christ, the foundation within each and every one of us is a Christ in us, the hope of glory. And I'm say Christo ewo ye munti. Ema nyansa we mu na hodin we mu na honhom we mu na dum we mu. Eniema bebra ye papa atie mu. Trono me atie say according as his divine nature is 2 Peter 1:3. According as his divine nature has given unto us all things that pertains unto life and godliness. And jadi bibia ye be here say Peter who met also me no jimba kono eka no ade bibia be here bia no sure ne say or the adomie and the nyansa mu and you hwe nkasa yi no mu a ya na mamenka some we say so hwe nche mu ahwe the me say mu filter through ni say if happen no age Christo in your way so. I know say some of us, of course, we've read different books on marriage. Now the main one say you may be approaching be say depending dealing with the root, sorry with the fruit. So what must say, and then crab batano, the fruit and also the branches. But the beginning say if you lay the axe to the root, say there are no ebeko ibiano ni hini no soa. And then they bet me dealing with issue at the core. Bet me dealing with issue the BSA dealing with issue because the say the should be so puni do so trick do maybe so good the and please let's bear that in mind. Not that we centering everything on Jesus and Christ and you're not getting real with the facts on the ground. In fact, the facts on the ground is that we are meant to know who we truly are. And when we really get to know who we truly are, as per what Christ has made us, has given to us, I'll tell you what, most things that are deemed problems will just disappear. It's been proven, it's been looked into, it's been diagnosed and prognosed and all that. So it is very important. Sometimes, and last time now you can say, love languages, who can love language or really love language. And of course, it's important to know the love language of your spouses. But then if you want to live your life based on love language, it will get to a place where the person will be displaying the love language, but you wouldn't even know or notice. You cannot ever die a love language, but I'm saying, you're not in the frame of mind. One can go from the I'm a wolf or love language now, pepper, now, or chumba the same love language, the same love language, so speaking the same love language, and your shade. Now, what is going on? Sometimes and who here say, a ben who say, I didn't the foundation, the farabano, a Christo, and near Wyoming, and near Wyoming. How the person I dream and call dreaming, sees a bassa. I mean, that's we can kind of know. Questions in the brain will be answered. Talk to myself, who yes, we'll be Sunday night. You say now you dance around the but Christian but John Metia say in him all things exist. In him all things make sense. Nimono and it makes sense. And I say in just it may be more. What you say Master who say maybe a line of thinking, a line of presentation might not be the conventional way of 5 ways to do this and 10 ways to do that. Of course, but young people for us, young parts are the air cannot enquire in dream. So what must say? I'm here, Papa. Dream, they remember said, and their company say, you know, there's not to us, there's nothing like marrying the wrong person. But we won't get pass and no, so with my wife the wrong person. You know, now the question maybe is, so when does the husband or the wife become the wrong person? Because yes, you can say 5. I mean, I want to be 5 years in your choice. Say and near my rough, you know, and then near my be rough, a bit dusty, a bit, you know, whatever. And so the question is, and then of course, maybe you can make actions. I want to marry the wrong person. I worry about on your papa, you can say, worry, Nana. It's not man say. And also, of course, you know, she also had also, no, also be I won't say myself, not drinking. So within that 5 years, you know, you're separate ways because you're my wrong person. But I want to be real because I'm married the wrong person because maybe on ticket boxes and on pay, you know, on fitting to the bill and me pay and all that. But after 5 years, 6, 7, 8 years, baby, seen no. Brother, I say, the right person for me, and I'm missing me a right person. Well, I know that, you know, I'm the right person for it, you know, and all that. So actually, I say, when did this wrong person become the right person? You go for many go for my worry, we are prophecy be 100. So, within 2, 3, 4, 5 years, so much worry. So, talk to me. So, when the right person become the wrong person, which are all to me and to us, there's nothing like marrying. I'll state it, I'll underline it, I'll make me the pinky breakfast and the rapper metro. There's nothing like marrying the wrong person. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. Of course, it'll be our own opinion. You can believe whatever you want to believe. But what I was saying, same. You find a man coming to you. Show be a almost la villa beaches a more dumb home. 30 years down the road, no more Java. 20 years, no more Java. 15 years, no more Java. So when the right person, Mr. Right, become, how did he or she become, you know, whichever way, become Mr. Wrong, Miss Wrong or Mrs. Wrong? And this a humanity, say, any name is anybody who knows, say, no, yeah, be a commission one yama. Because, you know, you live in a time where people are ticking boxes, and my cousin was saying, you'll be a married, every patch, tick boxes be a person, it's very important, yeah? Tick all the boxes is very, very important. But my imagination emotions in here, identity. What I say, not a more. This week, meditative, so maybe I'm a country. Meditative be about marriage. And I'm thinking, so for your say, let's not put impediment on the way of those that are looking for to getting married. What am I saying? So the person goes like, before you marry a man, make sure he's God-fearing. Who is a God-fearing person? My definition of God-fearing, her definition of God-fearing might be different from your definition of God-fearing. And why? Because the way I look at things, and even see a person who near my Estifano, you're not be any God-fearing, no, or why will be a vampire chinocom. Not the definition of God-fearing, no, Obi Osonya or Chinocom vampire. And your buyer maybe a woman who's maybe I go on Sonya Mr. Mrs. No. Now say on Doja Mr. Mrs. No. But the say I won't say, I've no problem, of course you must marry God-fearing person. But what is your definition of God-fearing? What are the, if you like, the measuring rule with which you are using in measuring this person or the other person? Are you with me? And in fact, anybody may be married because of not say marry God-fearing, marry to or share the partner first thing. No, so no nonsense. And they measure who God-fearing person is. Well, who okay, so about over 6. And one man, one friend, Unsunyame. Okay, so be shame, sorry. And one man, one friend, Unsunyame. What I say, intimate say on me teams wash. Or this or Bible cocofa, not Okutano. We shall be a wash, or God fearing. I will say, on my whole point, and my home, the team, on my whole point, and should be a dear man on a friend, straight jacket in they measure the other person. What I say, make us say, you know, anti abysmal for a wound here. Yeah, I'm kind of saying, as I said, but I still stand by that, say, which my will be. But the here can say, won't you say now, or the party will know whatever. I didn't know the BI, I didn't watch it, or we call me say, and if I don't want to say, we always lay the blame or lay the expectation on the feet of the person who is over there. Why not us? Who be on my background, you know, abuse near the identity, why do you know a bomb? and you know, about sorry, please. Just say we know for intimate, and you know, I come from abusive home. There be you know, reference to abusive homes. What can say? I'm the real Ujaya, my testimony, my background is abusive. This that, background. Yes, that was an accident. Suppose in your accident, that's a moment. Ben's car and yet a moment, a correct clean. And so don't your very first point is not your is not the abusive. Of course, you know, I'm not please being played down. I never was suffer at all. But can we please move on? And says the Genesis was this way was just an accident that happened. And who papa is that the more I make reference to victim, victimization, it can that is maybe a person people come from like broken, no kusha my mano a strong part. Let me kusha me so me compare myself. No. What the walk also moon I say a then the OTS in the ancient sign in name we say enso ancient enso. I upset the American just say so yeah, that's the way I econo before any tree near the preference mommy see.
And I was in brain, and then it's in Bisa and a ever. And said, now what you tremble, yes, I see it. Now what you use yet to us, and then they yet to us, and Uti Yama is in Bisa no other.
Okay, so first question. How have both of you as individuals and collective handled past relationships, as in ex-boyfriend, ex-fiancé, and what would be your response or advice to married couples, even those who were in previous relations, like previous marriages, and have been divorced and moved on to marry other people?
Oh, Charlie, I want him to answer a question. Anyway, you know, okay. But I thought I said see the ladies first. Okay. No, that's interesting. How have you, both of you, as individuals and collective, handled your past relationships, ex-boyfriend, ex-fiancé, ex-fiancé, and what will be your response to advise our advice to married couples and all that? So I'll say it in English first, and then I'll say it in G. I'll try to be as brief as possible. Okay. So, unlike my wife, I of course I had few relationships before I got married, and so to me it is to me it is called X for a reason. It means it is past and gone. But the people are there, they are living in they are human beings, and all that. This is how I've handled it. It is very important I've informed myself and I've settled with it that I've moved on. I'm married to my wife. Some of them were like, gearing towards getting married, and so for that matter, there was an element of like closeness and all that. Then, because I've moved on and I've married, I've done well to control. The word is control. The relationship or the connection that I have with them. Because. Yeah, I'll put it that way. Because when somebody had been in your life in that regard, like you're gonna get married and all that, there could still be that sense of course you're not together, but there could have that sense of once upon a time we were in relationship, and human beings and thinking and all that. Sometimes you can play on you. You can try to play his own trick on you. So you just I've established it that. This is where I am at, and this is where I am, and for that matter, controlling or curtailing some of the connection and relationship, connection, or if you like phone calls or communication link, is controlled or is like of course, it exists. I'll be honest with you, but it is highly controlled. And of course, my wife is aware of whoever it was, or they were. Some of them. The ones that are important. I'm doing some of them because sometimes somebody will ask you, must you, whatever, and then we get there. So some of them, that to me, I really want for you to know. Yes, that is my response to that. The big Kenyan is say, as I may rather say, unlike me radio, Michelle, no, only baby, okay. I made not interest or my friend. And see, or more than be a minimum sign, a bit more like a yaka warrior, with my saying, South for no, Bemas no by sense up on this one. Send it in the other, a journal, a horse can get a very for, and I say, until the other woman say, communication link, we can see my trust. Be online, it doesn't exist. It be on so a whole bad, Mary aware. And Mary aware, and she's highly controlled. Say, me a time now, who many people said, me am ready, breaking phone, so this animal, money, as soon as no binti and be unfortunate, and that is how may answer a question. I hope you have answered it. Okay. Yes.
The minimum say, any the Asiano say, Fapim na yakasi Jina Christus no. Na yenim say, who were Christo Moa? Near Mother Danny in a action, near many in a aye fufro. And unti, the way that Danny in ano, and ya said, yes, Christo Baye, na one abonneer for a sign. If you want to need class or abonneer for a downfall, and ain't here. On share babia, ni paprono ewo, and son or dinner abono. If I don't plan an open assembly, if so bomb in China, or the odoma pa and a broad munti, and ma, the Omaya Chomono, any issue be. Obegaman, both one I didn't ban a new nanaka, or person who come in the feast and ras and nakasano. And yet, as a mamma, or man, it is no meaning now, person who come in or Medianico, or the Oba, winning be, Coaquai, what it. And Nunti, City and Yamacity and Sentia, Siena Yacano, Senya Belma, Minia, dear Unipana, Weshian, no Waya Tremono, and yet, and Fahon, and Kashi, or Ninipa, you Wahana sign, and as I say, Oba Wakema, and now, Yakase, and now I drain any akuma, I deal with him. Yakase, Yafapim na, I will say Gina Christo no way you move, a Christo way you move, as yet saying, Ninyan San the way you move, ni 2 mean the way you move, ni nim dear the way you move, Nintia see the way you move, Nimu yam the way you move, and don't see it me the way you move, a year be biara, and don't see a fat money dear, as see a tremble. It seems a miminia sardina, and I deal with so, and yet, you can't say, and free about you, if we want Casa. And we see some fancy Michelle so for the Bibia, or so a bio will come in Baba Warino, and I may now I need to another Casa, they come both with the Minia, why I may have no, Miamehon, I may have me, if somebody Buffono, Esia, be we are, and one more pine beer, Smith, Sunny money dear, Namiadaruma, or the boy or the donor, and my people said, never do a bar, ye fell before council, and I, and we see what you say, a chum, a never day chum. As I say, ye free as Yakon, ye free move ewo kind of saying, trainer council, some papas, and we see our men kind of saying, say, yet the yes to Christo Agene. Ah, to say the Machirasiano, and you Yansan in whom, and it at 12 Biaraso. And he said, Cobase me put an answer, me require any in quotes. And display Sadrian, now, medium say, when I come on, do be Biara betting. I die says by Suno Eddie. Never say if I crow cry to me dine a dear. Me put trap, dear Nipacro a yeso. It me put trap, dear Nipacro yeso as a day. Nyakupo, I do not say yes, Christo, I didn't win mono. And I'm midday and then a casana, didn't any etuana more na minia. Dear Chomacono, and yet you should be. I'm cousin Nano, na and Kofukubi by yes in China, who decided to say. Let's hear then I mostly a man, woman, a man who can say. Jawiri anasi jawuku anaso obema bitinye January o say ifiti ase no na entisa na makoma dindinti na asimi ye kase ade na ya adwene ni akoma wo minua dofo sa adwene ni akoma CPC ta e wo se de wo sitie se de onyankopon asi abo wa de obi biara ye bia no how wo kwan biara so wo entity wo kwan biara so because wo hu tra de AC wo hu tra de ekoso enu nti e de esisa ye na beba na ye kase hwe onyankopon aye mi ye onyankopon ne do onyankopon ne batampayo ne nyama pa no eno na de nipa e de adensa traba o eno nti se mefa ne se me be share sofi na sofi o me ni nipa so assign nti e bia obi frɛ call na mtwa so na frɛ na no makoma du ni ni na meka se e ha me akasa nti se mimi sua se anya hwe ade nti a onye free no ne de ne e bia ankasa emfa hwe mba o te de me che na se nti from then on me hu no said you onyankopon si hu no me hu no e wo sa kwan ne so eno nti am say sa na meka afa sa ade yi ho
we can move. Okay, now I just want to add this to it, in addition to what has been said. For example, maybe you've had, you're married before, you divorced, you've moved on, and maybe you have kids with the previous relationship, and all that. And from the previous one, it is important, say, like we're saying, you can look at it from two angles. You can see the Nkolano and I said nipa bakuna wire bako nipa no move on from him from no they are area and I say my friend no say maybe or so your okra and I say or your rival and I say or your townful. But unya nyame munti ase o munti ase say also say nipa am Nkolano omo ye nipa ena entino so only nipa and e dealing. So again to me enya echipo was say I said a previous relationship what do to me she said home saying yakopon si omo na be hu si yamisi hu na be hu nipa no afanse who can rock for na say yakopon for say look I was enlighten adwene mu na say I was perspective na e be boa wan kasa system. But when you say be a okra, those say move no, and I say when you say maybe a obano or my wife's husband and show or man as a wood is our general number. To be a crazy pet obanin you can ya would on pro master. Big a crabby, not me or big as I say Oma ho quine Emma Oma ever bear spice Emma whether we are in a relationship or you've moved on, be dangerous. If you be any and crowd catch stepmom can say, and as a stepdad can say, and I say, no, this information in bro. Now the activity step husband, I'm sorry, ex husband, maybe I must say, I'm crying just only on comedy, so I'm crying just only on ex wife, we are crying just only on comedy. Now say, and I'm the crying feed you in because maybe your kind and I'm crying the full picture. Now listen, even if you guys the full picture now, I say, take a book room. Okay, obiti and some people can't show. It destroys a lot. And the one for Penny, any Yamia doing any or about Jonah, a woman did know. For how the situation, you know. I always say this to me: say nobody can kill me or destroy me. So if you hear somebody quote like say something that's not right about, please don't come and tell me I don't need it. Like Marv we say all the time: tell me the good news. If you hear something, somebody comes to you and say I have good news and bad news for you. She prefer to hear the good news and then you keep the bad news to yourself. But can't good news and share bad news and keep it to yourself because Mark Metia says where's our spirit? In some way and I make as somebody say how do I even put it? Information is not passive. Information is not passive, it's very active and engaging. So it's very, very important, you know, you lend your ear and your heart to good news and then on probia or pass information amount with a for pan or cutting one small over country miss so what down for no cutting one sem bonnet never be country over catcher and sabusia bedasi as a banner country we don't need it. You don't need it. Because how be the kind of course I say t-shirt the quick bank of voice and be a mocha how be I cannot say shit no what no or she because it's independent all canon in contest no na kai omini bone but I'm so over reporting tea. We report to asema on to me carry the real thing on a course no. And the more I go down the road, you know, now it be can be free. So what man saying tea or ex-husband or ex-wife and Kola say man if you have see Sergeant Johnny says, you must argue we say in way more. Yeah, no Christian. The thing is, Arjuna and I'm Christian too. What did that? And this year, me, my cousin with the answer be to me, and that's the truth. Nobody can cheat me, and nobody can deceive me. Well, we can say, so we be naive. I'm saying, I'm sure. And he said, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Okay, so what from Sika, what from Juma, what from, Sunday man. Do you call this a cheat? Do you call this deceiving? No, you are not. I've been crying out me to brothers. Is there any I say, oh, me and I say, was send me, Juma, and I say, was send me, my brother. No. Then I answer the feeling. But I've been crying out, you did what the bogus idea. And you're a corner mass, someone is saying some to me as idea. So I'm a corner, Tiasi Umua, which you are waiting as I did, maybe much more. Won't you go for a form more Juma, ya form Yama, or Biajo Muku, Biajo, so called. Yeah, you know, the Pana move on, but the moment I didn't see a power, Obu, yeah, I didn't know a boo. Emotionally, you were gone. Psychologically, you were gone. I know, that was a problem. The event wasn't a problem. The effect of it, and I said, your response to the event. Can I say it again? Your response to the event and a problem. I repeat, the problem is not the event; it's our response to the event that causes the joy, or the breakdown, the hope, or the despair, and all that. We see here, any problem, response, because I didn't bet him see, Obi falling apart like he's gone. Obi because so the opportunity, I did a copy that bay and before you so much me. A beer bomb themselves, hallelujah. Why? Because when you have dream, when you have within 3 months, 30 million within 3 months. No, not on your hand sanitizers. No, that wasn't his field. No, a business person, but no, he has hand sanitizers. But I didn't always see a one when you are with my, I will say, sister, within 3-4 months, or he's worth 30 million. We so soon, man, the energy. Which I sent to me, the event is not the issue, the event is not the problem is the response. And the response is informed by how you benefits at here, how are you feeling sit here, how are emotional position sit here. So I say, and then my responding either positively or negatively. And then my responding either say, I didn't be able to perform my breakdown, I broken, I a depression. And I say, because you know what? I am bigger than this. I rise up, my story, that is very, very, very important, because I mean, team one say any team one and you know, one name of the brave is in the exo send forward to Sandy Marino, and can say, Bema dear, and I saw bad in a bedu. Anyway, me and Ian is here. It's in the car, and for us to say, and Mutina Sofu, yes, a yen, yet me a from ever kind this. Miss Question will you be best here, Namini, can I say, Minia sing the out, but a quite for me so dear, now a assembly brave and mamma pa, and we see, and I'm said. Sad and open interview because we media offer my bed and offer member 20 crowd and family. Let's so media say, but in them will be can I say yes, it's a free and near air cree. You must say, I dream Yakman NCP and Sita, I will say, Mikunu and answer me, you are an enamel. Say not here, or your pet or your teen, I will not put any so. And with his son, I make us well who ever might dream any macumem. Now, because well, Mikunu and I may re and I say, Obiam, why you could be was up by this one. Four. And can send me a new year. Now, so did say they make an assemble of Crana and Mutina Yesia Siciano. Yesia, lay your city again and Sutia. The Yesiani who said a Sutia, freeze Nercono, and from Sobia, Kiano, Caneno, Yensa, and Yam from Sudi, and it's not Bacosem or Homeboa, and Bacosema, and it's will be with Christo Moa, no matter Danina, a share, no menina, I have for if we ran out with me, a big boy. Now, I be my boy, no, my boy, Ama, and some parties, and you sit here, oh, yes, Christo, no, and you Yacopayono, Nephi, free, Nephi, and Yama, up to Tosso,
pepepepepepe no nti na wo ka fa so say hwe obi antimi wari obi a omfra if we say why no omfra e wo Nyankopon ani so Nyankopon aboye nyina pepepepepepe o sin fiti ase no na etisa fiti ase no bisa me ho say na etisen eti say wo Nyankopon abo wo yonko wo kunu wo yire oba obi biara pepepepepepe na ni so no o ye pepepepepe ti ana ne yani Nyankopon enya adwene yani Nyankopon enya akoma emfa nia ye de ne sign ho na ya dwene chima ti say ye hu no no mani na ebesesa it is say the wo kan na no kre obi antimi ensisi wo na so woni masisi no ye wa na otimi sisi wo if say wo hwe say de asi no ho na wo ka say wasisi mi ana say wo no ana wo na wo gi atumu na say wa anja antum sisi obi antimi sisi wa menua obi antimi sisi wo entini nyina ko bi gina wa nkasa wo so wa dwene ene wa koma ne say de osi hu ade esifa nti ye bekoso asua ye bekoso ade akwa ade birim ye de akwa akoma mu ye de akoma esi ya akoma mu ye ade ndwiri hu na yetimi de etu ana mo ne kwan so nti ye ma no be si ye de be consent for etoso this.
Okay. Question 2, it's more about, I think most of it has been answered, so I'm going to combine the two questions. Says, how much information do you unveil to make available about your past relationship? So to somebody that you're about to get married to, or somebody that you are married to. And in that same vein, it says that this is a case study. So it says that my husband gets upset when I chat with any male friends that I had before marriage. But he still has all his ex-girlfriends' contacts and chats with them constantly. He says I should trust him, but why can't he trust me? Question. Over to you.
No, I guess some of the things that you've said, like you rightly said, has answered to some degree. Some of the things, these questions. I know some people will say, you have to tell your potential husband everything about your past. And like I said, it's called X for a reason. It's called past for a reason. Look, we can come from different angles in answering this question and say, okay, so if you are moving to an area that your ex-boyfriend is, or ex-girlfriend is, you need to tell your partner or your up-and-coming husband or your husband so that, they'll be safeguarding and all the rest of it. We live in an age where, because of internet, people are doing all manner of silly things online. You don't have to physically to be able to do silly things with the opposite sex. We know that. And so if a person will fool around, it is always physical. If a person will fool around, you'll be able to pick a phone or you do video and just mess about, on video thing. So yes, you can tell the person he lives here, and all the rest of it. But to me, most importantly, like I've said earlier on, if we both of us can school ourselves or work on the understanding of who we truly are and who it is that we become. Yes, married couples, but most importantly, sons and daughters of God. That if that could be highlighted, if that could be really, lifted, it will help the thinking. I guess when we started this program, I said this, that the person that I love so dearly, so passionately is me. I love me first. I believe in me first. I've married me first. It's not demonic. But somebody say, you're being selfish. No, you've been, you should love your wife first. No, I love me first. And out of the abundance of the heart, out of the abundance that which has happened in me and to me, then it's easy for it to be transferred to my wife. But what has we been taught over the years? You love your wife. First of all, you love God, and then you love your wife. And I said no. In fact, I love me first before God. Yeah, I love. And for the good news is, let me correct myself. God and I are one. Are you with me? So we kind of, but then when it comes to another person, is me first, which is not selfishness. Because if I don't, and I want and I show her love, what I'm expecting of her is also to reciprocate, give it to. So if he doesn't show me love, I'm thinking, oh my God, you are not showing me love, so I'll stop loving you. But if I love you first, I so much passionately love myself, which I do. I don't care what he says to me, I love you or I don't love you. Of course, it's important. You get me right. Don't say, the pastor say, I shouldn't say give you flowers. No, that's what I'm saying. You know, but in perspective, I guess you get what I'm trying to say. So it is so important that, you know, we love ourselves first. You know, like we really, really love you passionately and crazily, if I can say that. And of course, you know, and then it can trigger. But another, all these other things are, you need to know where the person lives. You know, so can't no can in nature. We say, so with my canini nature, no. And so what's my what myself was waiting to him. Say, unim what it, and we know Motia. So my saying, when we both of us will come from this Ebusia. You know, X, ni say now, see, nice on a Casania, they will come on only be an X, whatever, Becassa. Because if you should say a chanko, but why is he afraid of? Maybe you're not Cassan, you knew. Why? I didn't say, we are not until sending go fear man or who he or she really truly is. What my saying, yes, I didn't want to see we say a babuama, you know, so buffer why for him. And yet, dear Eddie, but with me.
And we know say, Obi, and I dream say, if you are on can be beer and share, you know, Babarina and the real Babarina. You say, and yes, it's it. Near my panny a dinner home, near my dear Puntu Bans and panny a dinner home. And mad do I say, mad, you know, I'm your diets and I've been me baby shower. I mean, then at the account. The same kind of patch on how they edit. Then pana a bit by Yama and Unti, when you are the free, yang, near my pa and fat. Will be I in a sign Biara, when I only be Hunesana, a better Sandy Biara, and found the apostle, a better son. Now, when you now, we can say, Yana, your cousin, middle, and said, with your tip or more young Kumuno, will be catch also or Doa, will say, this and say, now, Udo. Ubi catch us, I love you. Ask the person, do you love you? A important question, pa. If I call Andrew Moda or the back dream, and so that what can I do? Like so, who say, hey, I'm past. There was some Smith with Dommy who cry, Sana. Me know what baby Shama met me out. Inti, me do, I love you, no. You be saying if I call, what can I say? Do you love you?
How much do you love you?
And they say at the I've been dreaming, ever quite been dreaming a day, and some, I can't say, and ya know. Baba, when you are me pray so, and it's Yenya Sargent, so was a kind of so said, a fapima, in here, pa, Yakasi, a cafapim was a no, fapim a Christo, or no sooner a moye, and ma, as in the Sebiara, or no a moye, and mass in the Sebiara, if fapim nani, you coswa, you jinasu, if you say, no, quati, fapim na, me and coso, it will be biaramu. Now, fapim so, yeah, a woman is say, fapim will you. I will. Onipa biaramu Onyankopon bo onipa over 8 billion e was asiso no Christo honhom e wo biaramu eno nti e ma yenya ahotoso
nya san we mu na ho odin we mu the case Christo honhom o we nyina mu a yes e ka to e ti ase ne se na ho odin a obetim bia ye adi nyina e wo biaramu enka se o we di onyindi we di ompam mu nka say dabi enya kwa na asem ni gina say e ye no kre asem na ye ka se you see Nyankopon si bo nipa o de ne honhom adua nipa mu and ti hu ne sa e be koso sa amaye ti am se e beto aso and some e to so ne so.
Okay, so me person me bisa say because as some can know it's all about knowing yourself and unim fapem ni bibia. But still, like Pastor, I will start saying a bit about past relationship. You said say at some point you realize say even though Mama Sandra name still you put some kind of boundary, I would call it a boundary. So would you say that should happen with exes, Nesan and Manemane? Because sometimes, I know people will say, yeah, I know myself and others, but in quotes, let's be realistic again. This person is hounding me or referring me or calling me or texting me, Nesan and Manemane. So what do you do? What kind of weight can you put in place? How far do you go to entertain these past relationship, these people in past relationship? Because I don't know the moon na member. Then I should also love people. But then boundary ben now the better so that kofa in some humbia because if you're not nipa na offer for no done yeah.
One word that we use is healthy. You know, because and everyone no more when say I guess again if these things, the content sometimes of the conversation is not healthy, it's not helpful. So 2H, it's not healthy and it's not helpful. In terms not balance before that. Now, so how would you even measure healthy and helpful? To me, when you bench it against your own values and your own place and your own worldview and all that, and number 2 against your marriage. And so when these 2 things are in place, in place then a bit wow as to how to deal with this like person. But one kasa you all over the place because if you are now in trouble one trouble only say one we are now a moment of ubi of say already I did and so kunya dibina when he engine home. But when you say pano or ex ne kasa say or singing with praise, you know, or can say or ego no or how do you, he's worshiping your ego or she's worshiping your ego. And so I can say, which you have acquired with it. Now, if you go with the block sound, the net that's on your lifeline. Now, they are not, you know, why do you need somebody to pamper you or rub your, you know, shoulder you know, and all that? Because, condition be a one you won't need. And I could be a commission, I want to sing praise in this animal near man. Now, my only thing to be a nessa person praise. They be a two person who maintains sound and said by the Bible because of single praise. So that it comes back to what we say in say, enemy values, enemy getting money, they may want. Yes, people appreciating me are very important, but it's not as important as me know who I am, and then of course appreciating myself before he came say to me, Pastor, you are wonderful, you're a good preacher. So what must say? Enti hono here, it's quite about this say. And nipa no etin the self-worth as nipa no etin nipa no etin the self-worth as nipa no ehu senia o city. E kwa na ababa be si onu. So must answer, you know, when your mom for be can say what say o ba say your mom for be can answer and sem na fe. Na wa kwa ensem be. I guess that is how about healthy and helpful, of course informed by my worth and sensitivity.
And into the mechanics account so they say, and within a year she into me fan say bia say no oba na se be me who say no nyama nkoyi wa ware ni mu into me pebe be di metia fa na se mpa bibia sua into say yesua say okay one kasa hu say de ositie into me kunu nya hu say de ositie into ope ye fa ne say fo aso afi obi ho into me no me hu ni no me de fa so me ma bi kunu me start aye mi kunu me defe no me kan yo ma pa bi a kire no.
The fellow I'm saying the fellow was all that no.
Anya da e no correct me de no kwasam dem.
Because the key me tiasia the fellow
oh yeah na da.
Oh no you're right. Na there no the okropro.
Me okropro kan yo tia no. Okay. And I say obi e de was a bi by na emu da ko pa na kama pa obi ana o say ni kunu ha na dodo na obeso kunu nti okwaje adura firi ni ma me ho de akoko no. Na ne ma me ni ma ni semfo bi se o de ekoso woni bibi. Kone kan ukunu ho asempa ye no kama ye ni say na we are dem ma no na de egu na edu obeso etiachi ekoba say ni kunu ni say no sitie na akopese okunu free wo no akwaje adura firi ni ma me ho na ne ma me ni ma no aduru no na so de nyama bi kan no ho say na me pese o say ye ukunu kan nyama papa kire no defe no kro no kan nyama bi kire no enti say wo ka kire ukunu na ankon kwaje free baby me gidi pa. And it is a woman who are a
month later, I call back to my say, I'm a person make me because me classes na never make na or say they are not the man from the name or okay, you be a kumpa one. Number 2, and some pana, my men a man in 6 points. But in there is some pankuma, no, I'm a catcher, the band say on country, Nikunu, I'm a baby. I said, the biada. Definitely, a new man in Ghana, but my answer, no, I'm so patching to book in and I'm saying, you know, and all that. But
the woman is no credit, Sanipa.
Oh, yes.
No credit found with Diba. On Tiabaha, Yama Meka, Sylvia, oh, we can say, face the problem to say, kind of be real. Really, the reality, no credit. No credit is I bow. And yes, a man who tuntum, when I could say a fita, Namu, Minnesota tuntum. intimacy o ma men kan tuntum da bi onyankopon say ye tuntum a ye tuntum onyankopon say ye krojin a ye krojin enu ti onyankopon adwen no ye de nam ene ye de kasa efa nipa ho enu ti ye ye kan no me nua dofo e de emuaye eba enu ti na ye kan no ye de mo kan no de bi ntimi nya sa me nua obetimi aye ne ye ka se Kristo Yesu oti omodenti no na ho odin ene ni nyansa ne ne ti ase a ewo yi nyina yi modenti no ye betumi aye bibia na ye nya sa nyansa ni tumi ni ye nya ye bi enam se ye wo ni nti no ye de ye adwuma amenua ne se e de sesa ye na ye hwehwe wo ye wi ase mu no ye be hu na ye koso aso e mani jeja ye ni so se sesa ye na ba na oni bibi me ne o e be hu sesa ye no ewo ye ya yonkofa ene ya warie ene bibia ye wo bia mu
before we go to the next question, I make up. Let me see, Papa B, and all can say, or you're top-notch counselor, you know, like refined. Me, I like him. And also, since before one the officer, now I'm or can not my mom, my mother, or my husband, or my wife. No, so they be no, so that will catch you. No, catch you. Says, "Opa, now can say." My husband, my wife, my dear, okay, say, okay, you know something, you go home and call your mom to come. Because some have a problem, so you go only problem, cocoa from Marina, on better, and I make answer Marina. It was okay to your name because why no, it's me, no, listen. Since all the issues that you presenting, I'm a problem, and I say, okay, problem, you know, from Mumbra, no matter now, no Mukasa. Now, so listen, there is no external thing, a whole interpretation. And I will approach and what response and I'm out to be out with you on what we need to do is cut off our steps and your mommy and your papa and your crew and your ma and you'll be a one casana until near maybe I see is it near myself as stand out I didn't know mono as a parachute won't deploy won't be a deal and tinama still watching your chest mommy I'm a new obey I hope when you were so cool obey so was my auntie I'll come to wow. If you say, Mommy, any papa, I like our so Mommy, Matideka, Mommy, papa, I like her for that commenting. Mommy, any papa, if you are saying to you know, you can say, a beer, a system, no, there be a government, no, there be a be everything for it will be a human, we say. You blame on go for as your cousin Mrs. Mamma. I don't know, I'm quashing. It's not, you can say, you can be any. Ni do na but I chance I can books no and I chance I share other sides I didn't want to share when you as a solution because I know because worry about you plan a wrong person no share the right person why as I call wrong third person as I call fourth person I'm not blaming you I'm not saying but no blame but catch you one say so and maybe just me should home I'm sure they are not the only or dear me walk because what do you know let me do so let me use rather than say as soon as you remember manager or Benjamin manager, Bema de Obana say, I'm a Buja Mwako, this is a man say, and a decent chair, Unya Bema, or what I mean, the old fear duty, old Bema day, every year, Unya Bema, no here, or Benjamin Missumi or so they say, not my city. In the end, just send the economy, said, I can be a part of yourself for your company, you more. Me say, what my say,
Pierre Bontin, Yappy, Pierre, you see Shannon, they were come and see a Bunofa.
You know, is a mommy, but you're also my.
Okay. See, this question is more about how do I say it? Talking about your marriage outside. So there are two questions I'm going to combine. The first one is, this is someone who has been my best friend since. So this is the man speaking. It's a lady he's grown up with. He's been best friends since they were children, and it's like a little sister or their brother sister, and she has been his go-to for as long as they can remember. They've shared secrets. The first person he called when he met his wife and realized that he was in love with her. And so they still meet up and they talk about everything, including their marriages, because she's also married and what goes on in it. Is that okay? And then also the lady is saying, my mom is my best friend and my advisor. She knows everything about my husband and I, but my husband is not happy about it. He says there are some things that should remain between us. Why? She gave birth to me and knows me much more than he does. What's wrong with telling her about us? Why shouldn't she be involved? Over to you.
First one, no, you kind of. I didn't know. Say I worry from you, no. In our moon come boom, ammonia now for. Meaning, say, you're quite a boy be when they will be a number for us, and I'm winning now, and I'm not worried. Instead, say the wish I didn't waiting a rate anyway in the crew. We now won't come boom, ammonia now for. Every man near my eye plain, and my near my clear, not just will be. And BB will be arguing at say because we say we now my now for 4 or bar for Bema way for bar we are and now for some way so free we are and now for 70 be and contract and now for some also. I think say your money my play now a bois BBRM and other thing is so they said the air kind of pop him no SCP a sitter now only more so yes I do way now and you're very easy into okay. Maybe I could share as soon as okay, I didn't share together. Now you know, young queen was sacrificed, you know, now for 4. And the bus say, me, mammy soon be BR to become the chairman, mammy. When you be then, I will catch your money. They will catch your mammy, and also, and no cray. Oh, make up your big new year. Who knew your day? And no cray, and cost them for open. Now, me name says, and me finds all from mammy, I said, oh, cow open, eh, this is big canoe. She said, I'll do be a chairman, who should be that. You will fear me who should be that. And I will fuck fools all no my makers out to make us a cosso. And I will quite be a russell. If sends some pound one, I will come and watch that for mammy. And it's over false so cross a friend. Hey, and don't tell mammy car. Only put my cat on the car. What tell mammy car? But I will throw my minute say, yeah, cuckoo, now they are see it. Now they are pushing Quema. Then, and I will catch your mammy. Then say, you be a friend now with you. Now so you be a ye pay fame will be. Can you as well a pay a 2 swing in a free war? And it is a way be business a sumasia the other is a minia. And Tia see be any baby. I don't know where yes are. Then Tia see what when I can walk out and send patch on my man and make a come back at your say. And then who's all from mammy. If so open some baby at tea, if so you saw from mammy and some panco and I'll come from a show mammy. So until you be cry and when I assume. I won't catch that now. Or so can't offer mammy or TB because we so back on was a baby actually woman. And until on the other for yes, she didn't come. I young come that day. The woman say, wouldn't be Yakupon admin for ear. Yakupon admin FO. Now can't the woman a papa. The woman to me womb. The woman I didn't put to a baba. Yaka says, Sempa and necessary pa. Will be a rinser. Or Vinsa, just say, hey, would ye, wouldn't be? We are bed, we are young for, your many young for, your bed and young for, and son, you so to me, who to me, I was son, so come near my baby mano. Now, who I mean, yeah, I said, yeah, I say, I conana also, I say, oh, me couldn't and soon if I mean, who be that, the sending me who be that, because what's the summer journey after the air cost so. And I can say, it's a dear yaking young. I didn't say, I near Kuma, Danny Fanny Pahono, Minia, a year you might, a year you might, wouldn't be, my own, now watching. Like a child will say, and your papa, no, my papa would see the milk, I felt be beer. But then, yes, I didn't know. My own, I watch you pay. Now, Mr. Uber the others here. Say, I dear, you my pa, and it's son of the car for him. Who from my go from Papa, and you can now you go. That's a friend. And then your own friend, on the phone about for also. And it's Simon Sana, Becano.
Yeah, what I also want to add to what Marva said is highlight the individual's strength. Now, when people, as it's been said, when people hear who they are and what they have done and what they can do, it serves as a booster to their system, and then it makes them want to go on to do more. I remember when our early days in marriage, and of course I'm going to say it in 2 ways. I remember saying to my wife, listen, before you say to me, I've not done this or done that, could you just say 1 or 2 things that I do? And then she said to me about, it's obvious, I mean, you do. I said, but I didn't even know that, it did anything to you. So please, before you go with the bullet, just question it with, I like it for this and I like for that, and then you drop the ammunition. That would kind of save me a bit, and all that. But again, it's good when a person says it. But again, can also get to a place where you might not really need it, but it's important. Yeah. So going back to, adding to the question on the floor, It's okay when a person is married. You could have friends, a friend who is a man, or you could have a friend who is a lady. It doesn't matter. So here you are. You've gotten married. Of course, you've moved on to some degree. So to me, I'll talk about helpful and healthy. To build that rapport, that thing with your husband. Now, no, there's always something that somebody say, but if we don't get on, and I need somebody to speak to. He's been my confidant over the years. So what's wrong with me, a female, going to tell this guy of whatever kind it is that I need to tell him and all that. I've seen issues where the confidant who was the opposite sex, it didn't end well. Because when a person needs some element of comfort, I call it false comfort or false refuge. A friend needs some form of comfort. They can go for a refuge, and sometimes some of these refuges are false refuge, are trouble and cobia, and then it ends up into extramarital affairs and stuff like that. So running away from issues from home, and not dealing with it has never been the best. So to me, bottom line, it's your husband, it's your wife. Let's go back to the drawing table. Let's continue to affirm each other's ability and strength. Let's continue to home in or drive in who it is that God has made us. It's so important. Let me say this. You see, sometimes we throw in this thing, in like Christopher, we are Christians, and so what? You understand? And so it's like, boom, they start expectations, A, B, C, D. Fine. No, but sometimes when people go that way in Christopher, so they may say, in America, may say. Really? I mean, I understand that. I get it. But I mean, my position is I'm yet because of some Christian, yet because of religion now. I've come to a place where I'm saying, if I will not do something that is not right because I'm a Christian, I've missed it. I repeat. If I will not do something I'll not do something wrong because I'm a Christian, personal thing, because I'm a Christian, because I'm a pastor, because I'm a bishop, because I've missed it. I'll not do it because of who I am. I'm a human being and I'm a child of God. With myself, with no stress or religion attached. With myself, the moment me religion pet, me yet to appease a set of rules, me yet to appease religious God and all that. What must say, I don't believe in those things any longer. I'm saying maybe I did not call him when there's okay, question you'll be a better say, answer. What you say? A bit much table me or a go YouTuber.
I'm saying a man for the body
Yeah, but we have a question here as well.
Okay.
It says, so what do you do when you keep you keep saying encouraging words to them and you see them as God sees them from what you are saying, but then they keep doing the same thing over and over again? What do you do when you keep affirming to them, you keep saying all these encouraging words to them, you keep telling them who they are, but then they keep doing the same thing? And I think I'll combine with a question that I got on WhatsApp as well, which says that how do you treat a persistently cheating spouse?
Okay, we'll come to the cheating bit, but let's hit the. It's very interesting, and of course I'm not playing down the person's question or that. What do you mean, any power? Your feelings, your belief, your perspective, and all the other things. Some more, the voice of silence is much more powerful, and the voice of feelings and the voice of belief and voice of emotions are so strong, sometimes almost the time than words. And this is why I'm driving this whole thing. And so here my with Mary, my seminar, like we are doing. I can't say, I can't, speak affirmative words, speak this, and then my coffee, and I'm okay 1 week. My coffee 1 week, or I make we say, my bread. And so that is why I'm saying the voice of silence, the voice of feelings, the voice of emotions, the voice of belief. These things might not be articulated, might not be said, but they are much more powerful. And so if I feel right towards her, And the feeling I have towards her is this: that I'm feeling the feeling of when the thing happens. I have the feeling of when maybe my husband becomes whatever that I want him to come. I want him to become or to be or live not become live out. So that feeling is so strong. Say if you're corner, me who should be apart from that feeling, I may say I always correct. So my emotions, I so what say. My it's so positive energy, vibration, energy frequency. It's so correct to say. We can say, or no, means also, they can say, paranoia, paranoia. Reverse paranoia. In other words, on no be a penasem. So be a penasem. We can say, and when you can say, oh, so my BBS and BBI. Now, I'm not saying you haven't, but is this just to tick boxes? It just to make you say my BBI. We say, honestly speaking, I know maybe it might be a bit hard and strong, but the crew me say, when the feeling and the belief and the voice of silence. And the voice of thinking, thought parts, Eric is just saying, I do say a done dealer. I tell you what, when you say because of at the floor, even though maybe the person is not the person is not living up to it, when you because of at the floor, I'm telling you, my sister, my brother.
So for the old canoe and a crepa and TV, a meeting, I can say, oh, so for no fair, be many young food, and so Nami Mono
feeling.
As I like Sika Cracker.
Also, I shall say, when you're getting a team or so. Oh, Mimuno Castle, Mamune can be before, and Janus and Enshia. The cousin maybe were a year, 2 years more think for free. Only your man no fafanes, and so Macuma dear. We chi into the old canny and a crepa, and your dream money sippy. Let's say if say import when boy one umpo, I can't be bimpo. Let's say, quite for frost, so I dream money up memoir. And the man, I want to start free, I want to shall see free. Dear, no question, Minia, I will be sassy for you, wouldn't be. My ends shall see free, I dream up many. As a grand and no way, if that the Ashema Kumamuno, and I know a breaker. It is a no breaker before Fry any Akumamuna, and no unya results. Into your crest, what can the old canina and as room with you? If you say, and shall see him free, I dream up mem. Now, the question a woman soon says, shall see free, I dream up memoir, meaning our own bisas a sassing for no, Ubenya, a yano, the catch level, just say. Ya hwehwem ya swahwe ya hu say adwenya akomane sesa enu na sesa ye ni nyina beba nti emfa ho de wo beka sa adwenya akomane sesa ya de wo de wano ka no umfa unya wo hu de meche nti adwenya akomane sesa emfa de onyankopon enim efa ye hu ha na ye mfa sa no entwa na mo nti ye da wase bebrese wa bisa benim se beboa obi Fufra or see, say, oh, it's a chance if you imagine him. The perspective, the pictures.
It's a free neck, mirror, I will pine for frosso. Me whom a ra, I will pine for frosso. Me whom a bay, I will pine for frosso. It's a no crano. You can say actions speak louder than words, me what. And he said, my thing can't be money, my journey, the Macume Susono. As the son, let me who will pine password. And one casa. My stopping for being a pass from fasting and praying. We got my home now watching combo pie for Mr. Giant. Kodidi. And so I sat a person down. I can give you a number of them. Japanese here, Unya Concha, what you. So what did I do? Me boy no Emma not being a sign. Me boy no money feelings as a sign. Me boy for no Oma a sign. The job was done. Inti ensa na omo nkono na ade ndi da so ho no but am say my body banama ndi mama say we say nhire me ehia gofo bebre so my bomb pie ba ade we say me bomb pie be 10 years obusia giant pie ni bo or better still this is how you have to pray. See
the thing has happened.
Yeah.
Imagine, live in the realities of the it has happened.
It is how you see a sign and see. I think I better me. It is a energy. I think canon. Any family. I think canon. Any I think canon. I just say me what to me. Yes. So I think canon a fanantic.
Now imagine say you know.
It is a woman who says Syria. Oh, because me woman say Uncle Bassy will be disappointed. Say I didn't see it. If say what and a watch to say I didn't see it. You pay the opposite will be an SUBTITLES. It's wood in the one year, and more but to a young and near more I think and a number. Yeah, sorry, now a year, Juma, a year, Juma, a year, Juma.
Good. That's your question. So we say about common.
Yeah. Let me combine it with this one. So someone says, why do men cheat or go behind their wives more than women? And then it comes back to the question, how do you deal with a persistently cheating spouse?
Okay. I guess no, there are ways that one can handle or come across as and in answering this question. For example, you take him to a counselor. Maybe he needs some form of a therapy. He needs some form of talking to some form of, so many things could be said in answering that question. Maybe he has to delete all the phone contacts of his wives and not wives, it could be a wife, ex-wife, ex-husband, ex-relationships, both ways. And so when you do that, because he's been talking to this ex, that is why I remember it's not the ex, is somebody that the person goes for and things like that. So why do men cheat? And so when the person needs to delete these things and stuff like that. And again, somebody also say it's a man. That's what men do. People grew up thinking man cannot have one woman because of their hormones and how they are built and all that. So it's okay. It's okay for a man to do that. Just okay, because that is what it is. If you haven't been done it, I think there's something wrong with you. And so people grow up in this environment. Now, to me and to us, to me and obviously to what we are doing, my response to that question will still be what you've said so far. It means somebody has believed a lie about himself or herself, thinking that if only I could have this and do this, I'll be fine, or I'll fulfill certain gratifications and things like that. And it goes back to, I've said it before, that the reason why I'll not go behind my wife or whatever, it's not because of her. I've said it. It's because of me, and I mean it. It's because of me, because I love myself too much, and I believe in myself. My status as a son, a son of God, and not a daughter of God, I'm a son of God. I know that that informs pretty much most of my decisions. Who I am informs most of my decisions. Somebody say, but Pastor, like you are married, so you have to consider the reason why I shouldn't not cheat is because you got a wife. No, yes, I have a wife. But if she's the motivation of me not doing it, then I've missed it. Because at times she's not there, or I can do it online, or I can do it on phone, or I travel outside and I can do it. But because I love me, so to me it goes back to understanding who I really am and loving myself and marrying myself. And things like that. When these things are in place, well, what have you done? You've taught people to love their wives first. Taught people to be able to come out as holy and spiritual. And so it's like we are always trying to show something to somebody outside. Me, I've got nothing to show to you as a pastor. I've got nothing to show. But I don't even think like a pastor. I think as a human being. I think as a son of God. I don't think as a, when I say I don't think as a married person, I've got wife, I've got children, so a responsibility, help them and all that. But primarily, I think about myself. And so arrogance is not selfishness. You see, so please, let's revise the teachings and the preachings in the pulpit. you know, we Christian need any person we say, or what the new person we say, you know, we everybody person we say, no. Many say because sending out telling yo, and it's the appetite to do that is you don't even have it. So I say, but your bonfire say, I can't be a team, you know, so sometimes even the prayer topic even call for. Sunday man, so what man say. So
I do
so
I do so say see me on my passion.
yes. Only I'm not saying in chair na yen so. Say okwa sorry. Na you can bonny. Only my DB. And what did to live right is not there. But okwa sorry. Near can't you painting your oh you can see or more to say hey. It's a what did you it's a yes, it's a how that a woman for a Kenyan. And as of for mystery, you're preaching a bonnie, a demon, a bonnet, the woman, well, yeah, we are teaching them, we want them to know, one for you are not helping them. Because nobody are Betty, and I call him. I dear Betty now, when they have said, you know, when you got to express. So, to me, that will be my response. I don't know if I've answered the question. Okay.
Okay, this comment is quite funny. I want to read it. It says the facts of more men cheating than women is inaccurate in current dispensation. The figures are from the 70s. Now it's apparently 50-50. But on another note, Usisi Anansea, Usisi wo. Okay, so our last question is one that I think is a cultural thing, but because we are doing Nsakyerae A Edimu, I think maybe we need to have a look at that. That why is it okay for a man to have a career and have more money than the woman in a marriage setting? But when it's vice versa, it feels a bit awkward. It starts getting a bit, so the wife cannot say some things because she's being too proud. It's because you have more money. It's because you're working and I'm not working. Why is it like that? And how can we deal with this issue?
Okay. My response to that, of course, I like what you said. It feels more of a cultural thing. There's nothing wrong. Let me say this. Unfortunately, history has not, to some degree, not in the, of course, as a history that's past. It's different today. Dealt with to some degree with women. Women had to fight to have the right to vote. Women had to fight to have right to inheritance. Women had to fight to, because you read the Bible, and there's a scripture I think somewhere in Numbers where someone had daughters and he didn't have a son, and so his inheritance was going to be passed on to other his relation, because, and then of course the girls fought and they get what was rightfully theirs. And so then you read the history of the Jews, where women were like, if you like, we're not matched, and and all that. And of course, you come to 18th century, 19th century, and women, like I say, women had to fight to vote, women had to fight to do certain things, and all that. And so that is so by and large, that's the world that we used to live in. Even today, I hear that women are not getting the same salary that they meant to get doing the same job and things like that. But the truth of the matter is that, like Jesus will say something like, "In the beginning, it was not so." In the beginning, it was not so. Or you have heard it said, but now I say unto you. There's nothing wrong. I know the notions of Obanye Sika, so when a woman gets a lot of resources, it becomes arrogant and proud. Of course, it's not true. Remember, almost to us, so Nimia or Tinnoya, to me, a Hantan Seven. So, you see, that is as well. I think that the base mindset, the thinking that is not in line with the a portrait over the years, centuries, years. And so the bottom line is not true. Bottom line, there's no woman, in terms of Nyamimono, or Nyamitimisha, or Nyamitimisha. It is surprising to note that in some churches, women can be ministers, they can be pastors, it can be anything but pastors. See, so we live in a world like this. What can I say? A friend said, Oba, £1, We have 1.20 so money 20 edition but you know, a whole lot of things have been said wrongly about the female species. Please, the point of the point of the thing is it is not true. Guys, be happy that your wife has money or whatever thing it is that she's doing. Personally, you know, as you sit on this set and my wife is breaking tree near the idea, I'm catching a program and idea, you know, and all that. I'm so happy. Look, I don't know if you, but we read me in my DB, wow, so say, I don't know, we say, you know, so there's no competition. So you may not need you. So make my joy in Yambia, they now need me. But so person Jimmy Bema, they now need me. Not say, but so so, and you know, you know, some of these things are not. Some women are just naturally buoyant. They are go-getters. They are strong and all that. If you say, "Oh, and maybe now who is an about it?" And now person, no, or when you just say, "Why no money on this money?" I mean, you know, Jimmy, actually, a plus, a facility. So go be on the baby. Now, if you say a question, no, you are not coming. Or back going say kind of contest, Mr. Rabi, some not here, or you are speaking. But you say, maybe a me and me say, now you owe your banner per cast and person. You confuse your body, so we deny we are boko. Why? That was then, me just say no. What was saying, person like me, maybe 5 years, 10 years down the road. This was about maybe 15 years down the road, 14 years down the road, yeah, or maybe more, maybe 20. I check. And we say, oh, baby, yes, or baby 18. I said, oh, maybe baby president. I said, baby, I saw open here. Now we preach here. Guess what? Or baby, I said, baby, preach your wedding. I see. Or baby, old you kunukui. Old you kunuku baby. You didn't know no kasakani. You know, and those were my sentiments. Near my personal position. No, baby preaching. But the crowd said, so me pekasa, me mkasa, me no dey mkasa. And that's what you say. Come be no or spokesperson. You can know why you did. I know why you did. Like you answer why did meanings. Maybe menti. What we see here? One to put 1,000 to flight, 2 put 10,000 to flight. Any now ye one D. Near J ready now 18 year pushing and I catch and say anyway on your back putting and on your only madina what man say just grace and giftings. Maybe when I say too much. If you know I'm saying in a head but I can see or look on the course in Yansa Consul. When you enjoy it, and get to know. And the yo, and he said, as a Miss Bia, anyone dear, and I'm saying a question and answer never say any name to the Brano acronym. Make sure say, I enjoy so. But if you go, you to be a bit chim, send be a bear in Gentia. It was here, and no one I can, young corner in Gonguti, Moonbeam. Na yamfa emusie busie ho nsemfua na afei yɛntwehwem pɛsɛmpɛnsie mu de kasa asɛm na yɛmfa nkwa dwendwen mu na ɛbɛyɛ mmoa ne nhyira de aman. There are ways of handling issues. A car going to first handle the name. You know, with my there will be on my we deal with the fruit. I said I'm buying no. They also deal with the root. Like I said, my kind of books will deal with the root. So the fruit. You know, yeah, cutting and say, but the question can say now, now, no, a boat when the more. We young guys say, and no one more day, and no better the end for the good, and many are break a but the winner is soon enough as nothing, no, the best summer side, man, we tasted that one before, do's and don'ts, do's and don'ts. And then when I said no, and quite chilly and what man said, as a next week, parent, you know, I say, I bear 1% of your one him. Ukunu, and one no, Ukuno, Ori, Oriano, Yamian Semu, Yamia Hodimu, and Yapabo, Pabosi, Kiki, Bompama, Conscience, and Pabon, imagination is also prayer. Meditation is prayer. Seeing the man as God sees the person without talking energy. Through Nipano, saying it, highlighting, never be a one dream saying no. I did we say, oh yeah, dear. Now, in kind say, I didn't want to brought it up. A busy, I can't share. I saw you trying to say, because I cooking cow baby. At the end, a feeling, a field, energy, a control food, a critique, now what attractive. So, I say, a bear more an inch at the amount. And the idea same in Brabo, one warrior so. Bible man, they say, and you can say, mom. You can say that if you want to, but when you be a man who can, also warrior, no, like I said, when you be a man, but remember, in same day of what can, yeah, and no quarry, ain't you point. Emma won't and family is right. Of course, go for what you want, but please. Men who used to need more testing, didn't measure and go for a Christian, a one pie, where spiritual, yes, spiritual, where you say, when you see, and conquer how that Mr. Mupa, the bear one in Sherry. Two red was and pay the other money, as that and coward dean, a one day, Yansa, Odolinti, a simple before our idea. The tick, the why and the same tea, different kind of time, because we different kind of tea, because rather than so what's I don't know why I was sick or near why always you on time. I mean, and I was so young brain, but very question instead of young ready my that's a net. It was also Asia. Now, it was we are medical and you're very much. Maybe are two YouTube debating or the 444 Ashe. Questions in every idea, but you know, you are comment you episode to us, say, further questions in here. Please feel free. Let me see a question. I hope say it's me answer questions soon. I mean, say, bit not free angle be brave, but it used to go this angle or visit way above. And that's the breeze of it. Let me share in okay.
Now, any customer woman is also say, you say, oh, I didn't pat, oh, I come up pat, and Yena, you boom, here the adrenaline pat, any up my pat, to Anamui, a war, the fair vessel, any GSO, any family so. Amen.
Bye bye.